going on in the space between, the sacred space? What does the relationship need? And so each of you come into this relationship with different worlds, different values, different ways of looking at things. And so our work together is for you to be able to see each other, to really cross over. If you are speaking and he is speaking and you are listening, you would be the receiver. And you would be crossing over this bridge into Lou world and really exploring everything about this man that you've known for how long?
26
Almost 26 years. Wonderful. And so when you are the receiver, you would be crossing over into Orly world and exploring all the things about this woman that she might not even know about herself. But you're holding her as the receiver, or you're holding him as the receiver, is going to help the two of you see things about each other and about yourself in this connection. So this is about safe connection. That's our goal here, is to talk about anything using the Imago dialogue process, which has 3 steps, and we're only going to do the first step in our first session. The first step is mirroring, where you just did that. You reflect back without changing anything, trying to get as close as possible to your partner's words, what they've just said, and then checking it out and saying, did I get that? And then asking with real curiosity, is there more about that? Because you really want to know. You really want to know what's going on in Orly world and in Lou world, right? Okay. All right. So you might also wonder what Imago is. Imago, just very briefly, means image in Latin. And it means that you have chosen each other because unconsciously, consciously you're both very attractive, and there might be other, you're intelligent, but unconsciously you chose each other because you have characteristics, positive and negative, of your primary caretakers. So it's the image, it's that internalized image that really drew you to each other about things that you're not even aware of, reminded you of what you didn't get and really needed from your primary caretakers. But we'll find that out as we go along. So to start with, so Orly, would you tell Lou what the relationship would look like, or is looking like, if you never needed to see another therapist, starting with we, have, we are, and Lou, I'm going to ask you to mirror. And part of the mirroring process is we want to stay in connection. So if you find that you're saying more than you can hold in your container as a receiver, so you use the pause button. You just hold up your hand gently like this so that Orly knows that you're with her, but that you need her to take a pause so that you can reflect what she says. So that might happen if you have, you're going into other thoughts and you want to say something, or you're just on overload. All right, so it's the pause button. So Orly's going to start with, so we are, this is your vision. This is what you want with Lou.
Lou, we would have the ability to communicate with each other without becoming defensive, and being able to truly listen and resolve.
So I'm just going to fix that a little bit. We are able to. So this is where you are now. This is happening. Okay. So
they cured us.
You're already cured, right?
Okay.
Right. So we are able to. So you can say it again.
Okay. So we are able to talk and resolve our conflicts in a non-defensive manner and move forward from our stuck places.
So what I heard you say, we are able to discuss our differences without conflict, resolve them, and be able to move forward.
No.
So you want to encourage. Okay, you want to encourage them. So you're going to say. So you're going to say you got.
See, it's not working.
That's beautiful. So you want to say you got some of it. The partner wants you to get. So we always want to encourage the receiver to let him know he's trying. He's really trying. All right?
This is my world. I want you to see it. Sorry. Okay.
So extend it again.
Okay.
And you can change it a little bit.
Okay.
And you can put your hand up if you want to break it down.
Okay. We would be able to communicate with one another without becoming defensive.
Let me see if I got that.
So we are able to communicate.
We are able
Oh,
to
sorry.
It's
communicate
okay.
with one another without being defensive. Did I get that?
Yes, you got it.
Is there more?
And so the more would be the next.
And be able to resolve a conflict and get unstuck from those stuck places.
And we'd be able to resolve our conflicts and be able to move beyond our stuck place.
Yes.
Did I get that?
Yes, you got that.
Is there more?
No,
Not for now.
not for now.
Right. So Lou, so my vision is we are able to, or we do,
My vision is that we would be able to talk about anything and take the time to do it in a less avoidant manner.
So what I heard you say is that we are able to take the time to resolve anything in a less avoidant manner by talking. Did I get that?
Yes, I think you got that.
yeah, so it's okay if you don't mirror it exactly word for word. Some people like exact word for word mirrors and some people like more of a paraphrase. So as you do this, you will be deciding which is more comfortable for you. All right, and so I want each of you to just take a moment and think, so what I would need to stretch into in order to help this to happen. So that means what negative things might you need to let go of, what positive needs might you need to put in order to accomplish this vision. So what I would need to do to stretch into this is,
What I would need to do to stretch into this is let go of my fear of losing you when we have these conversations.
So what you would need to do is to let go of your fear of losing me when we have these conflicts. Did I get that?
Conversations,
when we have these conversations.
When we have these conversations.
yes.
And what I would need to do. So how would you need to stretch to get your vision manifested?
I would need to trust more that what I have to say is going to be heard.
So what you would need is to trust that what you have to say would be heard. Did I get that?
You got that?
And what I would need to do in order to help myself to be heard. So what might you need to put in to stretch into?
What I would have to put in, I think, would be an awareness that I've been doing that for a long time. And I need to stop doing that. I would have to be more conscious of the fact that when tension rises, that's my go-to place.
Let me see if I got that. That you would need to be aware that you go to your go-to place is to go into a place of withdrawal and to move beyond that, I'm kind of moving a little, would be to a consciousness of going back to a familiar place. Did I get that?
Yes, I think you understand that.
So it's interesting that you fill in a lot of things, you know each other. So you fill in some of the things that aren't being said. And as long as your partner says, you got him, that's great. Okay, so sometimes couples come in, and this may be your situation where there's frustrations going on. And so I'd like to get an idea in the first session of what the relationship looks like when it isn't as beautifully connected as it is now, because sometimes that happens. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Orly to be a fly on the wall. And so that means you don't have to do anything. Except buzz quietly. Okay. And I'm going to ask Lou, if I was sitting here alone with Orly, what are 3 things that Orly would say she really finds frustrating about being in a relationship with you? And I'm going to ask you to think about it in terms of a 1 to 10, with 10 being she really finds this frustrating, and the lower numbers means it's less frustrating. And then I'm going to check it out with Orly. So just the top 3. So Orly would say that she gets frustrated with me when I
leave out detail.
So say the whole thing. So
Oh, Orly would say that the top 3 things that I do that would be problematic for her would be my leaving out detail, that...
So Orly would say that the top of the 3 things is that she gets frustrated with you when you leave out details.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2. And how high would she rank that on a 1 to 10?
I'm going to guess a 7.
A 7. Okay. All right. This is a laughing fly.
I like it when fuzzies.
Yes. Flat. Flat. Yes. Number 2.
Orly would not be okay with